AFL Nation on 1116 SEN. For Macca's Mini Share and Footy, $5.95 with any purchase. And Liquorland, we've got a drink for that.
So a better effort, but an all too familiar tale for St Kilda, being heavily scored late against and also inaccurate in front of goal, leaves them 24 points in arrears. They're in tight at half-time, or they were. They've now re-entered Etihad Stadium and about to get ready for the opening bounce for Tyre Power, your top of the ladder tyre team. 10-8-68 to 6-8-44. Gaz, you're looking for what you were looking for pretty much at the start of the game from the Saints?
Oh, I think this is a real challenging time for them. Hutto, as I said to Jared just prior to half-time, that this still can go horribly wrong for St Kilda. They are 4 goals down. They've given up 5 of the last 6 goals of the quarter. It's got out to 24 points. And they need to make a stand and turn this around again with a similar effort that they came with in that first quarter. But you can't afford drop-offs. And their most recent second half was against the Western Bulldogs, where they got humiliated. So I'm sure that's the focus. I expect to see a similar sort of approach that we saw in that first quarter and a half to make sure that this doesn't get blown away, because we know that Essendon can score quickly. We know that they're attacking, they're a really formidable attacking side. They've been sluggish, not impressive at all, but maybe that just ignited them that last 4 or 5 minutes of the second quarter and got the feel back and the hunger back for a contest. So we'll find out in the next very early on in this quarter.
So they're in the lead at the 23-minute mark of the second quarter, and they face a 4-goal deficit at the start of the third term, which is not far away. And Brendan Goddard and Adam Sard will both be spectators for this.
Well, that's the other
half.
thing that works in St Kilda's favour, Hutto, and they've got to have a ruthlessness about them to try and run and make this a quick game and make it a hard running game, so that, with Essendon 2 down on the bench, that starts to kick in late in this third quarter and the last. So,
2 tribes being played around Etihad Stadium, 2 tribes going to war.
Isn't it extraordinary that we've got 6 forwards against 6 backs, 6 forwards against 6 backs at either end, 2 wingmen? Exactly what the competition wants for next year, and
beautiful.
For whatever reason,
it's happened.
It's happened.
It's bizarre that
I can't believe it.
All the teams are now doing it.
I cannot believe it.
I think you'll see that in the finals too, guys.
Because if that didn't work before, why does it suddenly work now?
Well, maybe they're saying, well, it's coming in, so we've got to start to prepare for it. I don't know the answer, but it's made for generally a better game.
Opening bounce for the third term for Tyre Power, your top of the ladder tyre team with Anthony Hudson.
Pearce keeps it away from Bell Chambers, got it down for the Saints, could have been in the back against Myers on steel, and eventually it was. It must have been a non-controller who paid that free. They take the advantage, dubious as it was. Rush kick forward from Gresham just to the point of the 50. He had to go and win his own ball back, but he ran headlong into Hurley, who has renewed determination, and it's incorrect disposal. Great tackle from Hurley.
And great start from Hurley too.
And hurt Gresham's spud. He's slow to get up.
Off to McKenna, kicks the centre half forward. Oh, McDonald Tip and Woody ran.
It's touched, play on.
It was touched into Armitage. He kept his wits about him and got the handball to Smith, who sends it wider to Collier, who takes the kick into the 50, and Langford has recovered, leads up and takes the mark and will have the shot for goal.
Better spoil contest from Hurley though, wasn't it? Instead of the first half lagging off, he was all over Membry then.
What a miraculous recovery. This Langford looked like he'd broken a shoulder blade, dislocated his shoulder, or broke a collarbone.
I think his arm was dangling by a bit of skin. Was that bad?
Right, might have been a slight exaggeration, but that's what you're here for, Spud, as the kick comes in from Langford from 45 metres out.
It was tongue-in-cheek, Anthony.
Oh, okay, thank you, Danny.
Gee.
10-9-69 to 6-8-44, just a flesh wound. 25 points.
Well, that's how Simon O'Donnell got his nickname of St Kilda by Scuba. Got knocked out, and 10 minutes later got carried up the stretch and took the mark of the day. Took a dive.
Long kick into a pack.
Could have made the team earlier tonight.
Marshall tried to pull it clear. He's been dragged down, ball it up. Around the grounds for Kubota gets jobs done. He gave us the cricket lead in, so at Lords, day 1 got rained out. Day 2, India batting 2 for 11. It's raining again. So in the little bit of cricket that's been played, 2 for 11.
Jack Stevens going forward for the Saints, full forward.
Merritt ferrets away under the pack, but it is sorted out by Nunes, who feeds a hand pass to Ross. The Saints bring it around the wing. Membry takes the mark.
Looks frustrated, Michael Hurley, doesn't he?
Well, he looks sharp, Membry. His ability to get separation on Hurley's been great.
Inboard to Armitage, hand pass to Nathan Brown. Cue the hoots up inside the 50. The Bombers have it reasonably well covered. McNeese flew, brought it to ground. McGrath put it through him, and he spread it out to McKenna. Kicks a bit aimlessly out at the interchange gates. It tumbles end over end. Hooker decided to hook it back in. Devon Smith, I'm not sure, realised it was coming. Geary to Armitage as a result. Hooker gets back in, got a fingertip on it. Nathan Brown's tackled to ground. Geary's tackled. Ball spills out. Bell Chambers feeds it to McDonald Tippenwoody.
Great kick.
Quickly off to Merritt. Beautiful ball to Langford. Up at the 50. Hand pass backwards to Meyer, who shoots it wide, and Fantasia will be the designated kicker.
That shouldn't have happened. That was right in front of us where Hooker hooked the ball back in, but they had a massive outnumber back here. So well done to Carl Hooker. Worked rate, refused to concede, stayed in the contest, eventually got some support numbers, and this is the resulting shot.
It's a 45-degree angle to the left. Horatio Fantasia, 1 goal, 1 thus far tonight. To add to the Essendon lead. From the arc of 50, Fantasia stabs it hard and straight and through for a goal.
Beautiful kick.
31-point leaders. The Bombers are stringing them together on the mighty helpful Mitre 10 scoreboard, 11-9 to 6-8.
So they've got to start to be a bit more competitive in the middle of the ground too, from a centre bounce clearance situation, Spud. That's where they just lost control of the game in that last 5 minutes of the second quarter. They got absolutely dominated out of the middle. It's 10-6 in favour of the Bombers. So in at the moment, Seb Ross and Pearce has been okay and competitive, but they've got to try and halve some contests here.
Well, the Saints were in front. It was 6-5. So they got the last 5, the Bombers, out of the middle.
So that's where we head again. Centre bounce, and Belchambers was able to withstand Pearce, get the tap down, put it into the space. Parrish back on his feet. There's a whistle.
Yeah, it's against Lewis Pearce off the ball, Hutto.
It's another centre clearance though, so another opportunity to gain territory. It's 6 in a row for Essendon out of the centre.
AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. David Myers has the free, and the mighty helpful Mitre 10 scoreboard. It's 11-9-75, playing 6-8-44. Vast majority of players ahead of him now as he kicks from the city wing. Carlisle leads out to the ball. Belchambers met him in the air and forced it to ground. Long with the clean up, runs back into trouble and kicks off his right boot across goal, but did it pretty well in the end to Armitage, who casually gives to Nunes. He was about to be tackled by Langford, realised it. Slightly scrappy handball, got the accommodating bounce. Webster chips it into the middle of the ground. It's marked strongly and dished off by Patton. And then the kick goes to centre half forward where Loney gobbled it up, flicked the handball out to Billings. They've got themselves deeper into the trouble, and eventually they force the turnover, the Bombers. Or do they? McGrath, the heat was on. It came back to Billings. He heaved it to full forward. They're outnumbered 3-1. Francis didn't mark, neither did Hurley. Marshall to Loney, shoot goal. And I think he has.
He did.
He has. He just got the ball on the right angle. It was starting to fall away from his control, but he snapped it truly. And that's his second goal. And the Saints finally stopped the run of Bombers in front of the sticks. They're 7-8-50, playing 11-9-75. AFL Nation for Macca's mini share and footy, $5.95 with any purchase.
Jack Loney playing his career too. His last 3 weeks have been pretty good. You know, he's
I was just going to give him a bit of a push along, Buddy Boygan, because he's had enough opportunities, Jack Loney, and he still, to me, looks like a periphery player who hasn't been able to consolidate. He's kicked 2 goals now, so from limited opportunities, it has to be said, he's only had the 8 possessions, so you're dead right. He is one that has to impress in the next couple of weeks.
Myers and Zaharakis sitting on the bench for Spitwater high-pressure cleaners. Essendon only have 2 there. It's one away from the middle by Pearce, who sends a high ball to half-forward for the Saints. Langford tried to barge his way through Loney, who did well to stop him in his tracks. And then Langford followed up and tackled Sinclair to ground. Ball spills around through a couple of sets of hands. Finally settled by Nunes, who put it inside the 50. Hurley made the spoil. The kick smothered from Loney. Nunes goes in and gets it. It spills back beyond the defensive, beyond the attacking 50. Akers loops his hand pass out near Payton, who's run out over the boundary by Bagley.
Well, again, I'm just looking at Loney. His last 3 minutes, it's the sort of stuff that you'd want to be seeing from him. That is repeat efforts, tackling, pressure, dangerous when the ball gets out. Let's see what happens now, whether he goes missing for the next 10 minutes.
50 from the St Kilda goal. Belchambers wins it down, but Ross has it up and down the mine shaft.
Free kick off the ball.
Okay. It's Heppel who has been given it.
Yeah, the Bombers have started this quarter really well at the tackles. I mentioned in the first quarter they had 3 in 12 minutes. They've already had 7 in the first 7 minutes of this quarter for Simmons home, the Bombers.
Keeps it in tight. Short to McGrath, who does similar but a little more aggressive in his direction to Collier. He's at half-back still.
So they're looking to possess by foot short and then run from around the centre of the ground.
Yeah, they were held up in their tracks. He went long. Carlisle ripped it off the pack. Steele impressive with the hands. Sends Ross on his way towards centre-half forward with a high kick. Underneath it, Membry. A hard man to dislodge, and it's been a difficult task for Hurley all night. And Membry outpoints him again.
Super impressed with this boy's game, Tim Membry. 7 marks against Michael Hurley. Now, a couple of weeks ago on this ground, kept Buddy goalless. Buddy Franklin, I don't know if it was goalless, but certainly to negligible output. So I've been really impressed. I think this kid can really play. He had some kicking yips early in the piece, but he is part of a forward line that you could build around.
3 contested, 2 out of those 7.
Looking for his first goal of the night, Tim Membry. Stands at centre-half forward, comfortably inside the 50 as he puts it on its way. Oh, flirted with that right-hand goalpost and ultimately too much so. It's been another disappointing night in front of the sticks for the Saints, who are 7-9-51 now, playing 11-9-75. Mighty helpful, mighty 10 scoreboard.
Yeah, they've been in 5 times this quarter for 1 goal.
It was our first real contender for the Glenn Cameron Can-Do mark of the day. Hasn't been a night for big marks so far. The Bombers muck it up on the way out, and Steele got hold of it. He guides it off to Akers, who kicks into the pocket, and Loney will have the set shot. He loops around, has a crack. No, it drifts across the face. And Bagley marks on the behind line.
That's not helping his cause.
No.
At all.
Go back and kick the goal from 45.
If you're coming around, make sure you at least score to leave that short of the line.
That's right. You left 3 Essendon players there unmanned, and you just hand the footy back.
Kick went to Myers, who clears the defensive area for the Dons. Bellchambers the target. Carlisle made the spoil. They fight in underneath. Parrish shoots it out to Merritt, who gives a bit of ground to McGrath, then back to Merritt, trying to find the way. He's hemmed in on the boundary. He works a kick down the line. Hooker set himself, knocked out of his grasp. Pierce with a hand pass. Loney had it knocked over by Hooker, who then got some very high contact.
Did he throw a punch there?
He did. McKenzie got him high, and then Hooker hooked him once or twice.
McKenzie's got the ball now.
No, he's reversed it.
Yeah.
I reckon there's a couple in there that the match review are going to have a look at. I saw swinging arms from Carl Hooker.
Yeah.
Now, whether they connected, he had his back to us effectively. And
it was silly from him because he had the free kick.
Yeah, and contact quite high on him initially, and then under your regime, Gaz, he'd send himself off the ground, wouldn't he, and get suspended?
No, he'd have a week. No, don't confuse the red card with the weekend.
Kick goes to half forward, just to see if they get you in trouble on Twitter, as the switch goes from Francis to McGrath. And well placed back there to take the mark is Langford. Remarkable powers of recovery. His day seemed done.
Look at him go.
Look at him through the middle there, surging. Brown got it across to McNeese, and now McKenna, a delight to watch, chips it into the square. They broke them open, and it's Stringer that gets the easiest job of all, the chest mark and the blasting goal from the square. And the lead once again goes out to 30 points, and a frustrated Alan Richardson can only watch on.
Well, that's the template for Essendon footy, basically. Just load it up from the back half, chip around, go slow, maintain possession, try and drag any defensive zone out of the position and then go. And, gee, they look good when they went. Let's have a look at Carl Look again on the Chemist Warehouse replay screen. Dangerous it was from McKenzie. Then there's a roundhouse that doesn't quite connect.
Very lucky it didn't.
Is there another one? No, there's a little pat to the tummy, that one. But, that's an ugly look from Carl Hooker. Unnecessary.
Essendon by 5 goals neat on the mighty helpful Mitre 10 scoreboard. High bounce in the middle. It'll come St Kilda's way. Gresham roves at will, kicks it up inside the 50. Membry got one hand to it. Underneath gets Bagley in defence. Ferrets out the hand pass to good effect to McGrath. He's kicked it straight to Gresham. It wasn't 15. Run down by Devon Smith. Umpires have a look and they'll ball it up.
Well, they've just been a lot more aggressive with the ball, Essendon. They've been prepared to really move it around and stretch St Kilda. Try and make the ground a bit bigger and wait for a hole to open up.
50 from the Saints goal. Patted down by Bellchambers. It went into the congestion though, and that was the last time it was seen. AFL Nation for Liquorland, we've got a drink for that. 12 minutes into this third term. Bellchambers hooks it out the back, hoping that Heppel can run onto it. Zaharakis is there with him. It got onto the boot of Ross, went to and over the boundary on the bounce.
They've done all the attacking, the Saints. They've had 7 inside 50s for only 1 goal. The Bombers have only gone in 4 times for 2. So they're getting their opportunities, but they've got to start kicking some majors.
Bellchambers pitted against Pearce. The ball on its way back into play. It went to the front of the pack and it's taken away by Heppel, who goes short to Myers.
Here they go again.
He waits. This time the Saints just putting the doubt in the mind. But as you said, Gaz, they're all charging forward. Langford got into a dangerous place. It's getting more so now. Long kick, McDonald, Tip and Woody. If it's leaked out further, there was Hooker and there was Merritt. But there was also Carlisle who got the fortuitous bounce. And there's a good bit of strength shown, a character there by Steele to take the mark under some serious heat. He goes short, and a juggling effort back there from Marshall lending a hand. Flinks the handball Sinclair's way. He's bouncing already. He's running along the wing, getting a full head of steam up. Kicking to half forward, away from Bagley. Loney looking dangerous. Bagley beat him with the punch, and he punched it out by hand. Got it across to Zaharakis. Aggressive kick into Parrish. He's dislodged. Long comes in, beaten to the foot. He has to put a tackle on, maybe high, and it was. And the free kick going Essendon's way to Myers. 30 points the margin. Mighty helpful, mighty 10 score.
Yeah, well done for Myers. He just wanted that more, that hard ball.
Myers breaks left, goes long. Devon Smith has run into space. He dried the hands on the shorts as it hung in the air. Takes the mark, gets onto the left boot, lays it off for Hooker. Couldn't take the mark against Carlisle. Marshall is there to help Carlisle. Feeds it to him. Kick was smothered on the way out. Steele gets hold of it, clears the area with a hand pass to Ross. McDonald, Tip and Woody's after him. He has to get rid of it in a hurry, and he does. Off to Marshall, who kicks it straight to Collier.
Ruckman should know better to go in there, Gary.
Collier's in the centre square. He had numbers to his left, but he's intent to go more direct, where St Kilda have folded their numbers back. So the kick didn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't come to great effect as it bounces away from Hooker, goes out of play.
Ford Craft has been a bit ordinary the last few inside 50s for Essendon. Devon Smith needed to wait until Hooker got great separation on Carlisle, or double back to the goal, one or the other. He pulled the trigger too early.
Bombers have kicked 2 goals to 1 this quarter. Marshall taps it down. They're defending here, the Saints, through Rice. Great spin from Armitage to keep the Essendon foe and the ball away from danger. But in the end, he spun over the line and out of bounds. So we'll see a throw in. 12-9-81 play. 7-9-51. Mitre 10 scoreboard. Always mighty helpful to the trade. Ball spinning back into play. Again, it's Bellchambers up against Marshall. Beautifully read by Long. Stole it and rushed it off the right boot, so it's gone high. And they have an uncomfortable weight. Membry was able to knock it on. Almost was able to give the good at Patton, but intervening was the Bombers' Hurley. Gets it back to McGrath, and then on the back foot, it's McKenna. Delicate kick, and he failed that operation, although they're going to get away with it due to Fantasia coming into it. Lend much needed assistance, and now he's got the handball. And running and bouncing is McGrath twice. Got it across to Langford. Stretches the handball full wide to Heppel. And he just chips it up into the 50, where Myers turned his body to keep McKenzie at bay. And he can have the shot for goal after taking the mark from about 45 metres on a 45-degree angle.
Not sure whether the Saints have put an extra back, but if they have, Essendon are aware of it, because they're making sure that they use their extra through the middle of the ground. And that's why you look up and you think, how did this guy get so much space? So the Saints extras back there, but they're not overlapping like the Bombers are.
So here's Myers settling now from just outside the 50. Slight stutter into full stride, and he loved it straight away. He knew. He kicked a much better goal than that a couple of weeks ago. So in comparison, that was easy fodder. And he stretches the margin to 6 goals. 3-1 to 1-1 for the quarter, and it's looking pretty grim for the Saints now.
It is a bit, although they're still getting good field position. They just can't convert. It's been a problem for theirs all year. Their ratio of goals per inside 50 has been a disaster from almost the opening game of this season. So that's something they're going to work out hard over summer. But there's a thing coming into footy that's annoying me from a forward's point of view. Like when the ball they get possession in the middle of the ground spot, I look up to the forwards to see where the movement is. They're making leads whilst they're still chipping it round by handball or by foot. There's no connection, not enough connection. I mean, the first look should be up, and if he's on, kick the ball to him.
Essendon by 36 on the mighty helpful Mitre 10 scoreboard, and they should win the centre clearance here. Fantasia's gone in. He sweeps the hand pass up to Merritt, who stayed out of that one. Gives it inboard to Zaharakis, who's brought down. They invited a bit too much pressure and couldn't get the clean break. Ball it up.
Belchambers gone to full forward. Stringer must be doing the right work.
He is. Pearce, though, wins it down to the side. Stephen had it ripped out of his grasp by Merritt, who fed it out the side to Devon Smith, put it onto the chest of Tommy Belchambers, who looped it up over the top. Mitch Brown back to the flight went Geary, made a good spoil. Got a bit of high contact, or gave a bit of high contact, got away with it. Rice got run down. The Bombers swarm at it. Myers to Belchambers, out the back to Merritt. They need a kicker. It's Devon Smith, didn't quite get enough on it. And goaltending is Nathan Freeman,
who goes short, out of the back pocket. Geary left the door open for McNeese. He was happy to stroll on in, take the mark. His kick was a little too strong for McDonald. Tipping Woody now. Rice.
He's tipping Woody.
He didn't have much chance, did he, Rice?
Well, the umpire guessed, I know, because he had his back to him, so he was only guessing that he dropped that footy then. In the end, he may have guessed right.
Well, he did, but it was clearly, he's probably said he's tried to break the tackle.
Well, he put the ball in the air, Hutto, which meant he's had prior. I think it's a pretty good decision.
But what is a player supposed to do? Well, I find that a ridiculous cue.
Kick it on.
If you try and break a tackle, because the moment you pick the ball up, you're tackled.
Yeah, but you actually watch the ball. He actually brings the ball up to avoid the tackle.
Well, which is what you would do, wouldn't you? If
you
would,
to be tackled. It means you've had prior by doing that, Anthony.
I'm not sure that it should. Here's the kick from McDonald. Just trying to put a bit of fire into the night as McDonald has kicked his fourth. And this is when we start to look at the live ladder shortly, just to see what it's done mathematically to Essendon's percentage, Jared.
We love the live ladder.
It's taken a while. It's taken a while for them being Essendon, to get themselves engaged in this game to the point where something like a margin can be discussed, because the win looked in question at various stages. But now they've kicked 10 of the last 12 goals. So, they're absolutely dominating.
And they've been in 10 times this quarter for 4 goals. The Saints have been in 7 times for 1. And you're right, they just can't convert, where the run and carry of the Bombers is really hurting the Saints.
They've gone up 2.5% to 104.8, so they're still 5 shy of Sydney. They need a big
42 points currently on the mighty helpful Mitre 10 scoreboard, and they're breaking forward again. Merritt delivers it in deep, but Geary stood his ground in front. So they come out limping from that pack. 9
of the last 11, Jared, sorry, and that's with 2 less on the bench. So we've got shades of last week happening here.
Geary off to Pearce, out to Stephen, then to Nunes, going backwards. Pearce tried to push his way cleared. He lost the handle on the footy. Collier couldn't quite get it to a teammate initially, but still they work. McKenna and Parrish had a play. Merritt another kick, out to half forward. Freeman got worked over by Devon Smith, and Fantasia hit the accelerator, broke to the 50, kicks a goal and missed. He can light it up, Orazio Fantasia. He's had to settle for 2 goals, 2 tonight. 43-point leaders, AFL Nation for Macca's Mini Sharon Footy, $5.95 with any purchase.
There's a few Saints boys with hands on the knees at the moment, bending over, taking some deep breaths.
Well, they're on their way out. They need all hands on deck, but it's a spray kick from from Seb Ross. Out of bounds on the full. Francis takes it immediately. Bombers can smell blood here. Heppel has it. He's still situated on the wing. He's pointing now. He's held up. His immediate plans are still changing.
Seb Ross is free for St Kilda.
High ball aimed up at Big Belchambers. There's 4 Saints in the air, and it comes off the back of the pack to Webster. Set up Geary with a handball. He was smart enough to know he had to release, and the reflex is pretty good on the way out. Steele had the solution, gets it along the line to Ross. Well done, young Patton. He was able to break the tackle and swing it into the middle, and some possibilities now present for the Saints. Armitage feeding Stephen. Big switch to a vacant outer wing where Nunes takes the mark, bounces once, thinks about a second, instead kicks for Membry. This time he fails to get the hands around the ball, but Hurley tried to give it back. He sprayed his left foot kick. He was a little fortunate. It's landed just inside the line, and it comes off the hands of Akers and Parrish. And it's over the line and out of bounds.
Tackle pressure for Essendon's been really good. That's why they'll be disappointed with Mitch Brown here at the half-forward flank. Patton, the young boy, did a good job to get around, but shouldn't really have got there if he was committed to the tackle, Mitch Brown.
Hooker just gone down. Yeah, Hooker's gone down, right down to the rooms. I'd open Spitwater.
Carlisle took it out of the ruck, got the hand pass to Nunes, who fired and missed.
So 3 down.
Mighty helpful, Mitre 10 scoreboard, 14-10-94 plays 7-10-52.
And around the grounds, Kubota gets jobs done. The Roosters lead the Rabbitohs 18-14 in the NRL.
Shortest of kick-ins to McGrath. He switches it back to Hurley. He's got some numbers on this side of the ground which he wants to utilise. Mitch Brown, a handball. Francis a receive, and just a step of while he contemplated, brings it in to Heppel effectively enough. McGrath kept on coming, and they've worked it by hand across half back, and Myers can give it a mighty thump forward. Look at the kick. Stringer, the beneficiary, takes the mark 55 out from goal. He is capable. He is, but he's burnt it and kicked it out of bounds on the full.
Seb Ross behind the footy doesn't seem to be working at the moment. Sparty he seems to be in the wrong position. The other tactic that Essendon are doing, getting the hands in the ball of David Myers, who's kicking over their zone, getting right out the back.
McKenzie on the restart. He'll dump it long outside the 50. Needs Akers against McGrath. Couldn't mark. Stringer, who's kicked 2, 1 and 2 out on the full. He chips this in short to Parrish on the turn. Laid it off for Heppel. It was either Fantasia or Heppel. They were coming at cross angles, and the captain took right of way.
No, I'm with you, Gary. The Seb Ross one, in theory, looks okay, but you're better off having Carlisle free because he'll intercept.
Well, he's playing forward.
Yeah, no, but we'll take him out of the equation. Seb Ross gets behind everyone as the loose, where the loose for the opposition is running the ball through the midfield. That's what happened in the third quarter last week with Johannesson. He was free, and Seb Ross was in the goal square.
Dyson Heppel's had 28, leading the way for the player of the day. Self-wealth $9.50, flat fee ASX trades. Heppel lines up for goal. He's pushed it out across the face and through for a behind. 43 points.
To your point, Gaz, Myers this quarter has had 7 kicks and 250 metres gained.
Yeah, he's kicking the ball 55 metres, and they're set up 45 out, and Devon Smith got out over the back at one stage, and that last play they were out over the back. So when he's got the footy, Myers, you've got to adjust if you're St Kilda.
Marshall brings it back from the pocket to Webster, and he just didn't have enough on the kick.
And that's the difference this quarter, and probably since, I don't know, 20-minute mark of second quarter, forward pressure from Essendon's gone through the roof. This bloke's had at least 8 tackles, Devon Smith.
Yep.
On this stage, he's been the beneficiary of the great work by Fantasia.
9 defensive half turnovers for Simmons this quarter for the Saints, and it's the tackling pressure. And let's face it, Essendon are 2 down on the bench as well.
3 at the moment.
Yeah.
As Devon Smith, as Gaz says, 8 tackles, 3 in this quarter. Big leap from Stringer as the kick went across the front of the goal and eventually came off hands and out of bounds. So we'll see a throw in. Mighty helpful, Mitre 10 scoreboard. Still 14-11-95, playing 7-10-52. Throw in the forward pocket. Takes place now. Bellchambers at the front in the wrestle with Pearce. It hits the ground as a whistle, and it's an Essendon free, I think, for a bit of a cuddle somewhere, and it's...
No one knows who it is, Hutto, so Myers is
Myers or
pointing,
Heppel or...
and now Belcho's going to take it.
It is, so it's against Pearce, is it, in the ruck?
Since the Saints hit the lead in that second quarter, Essendon have had 19 inside 50s for 8 goals, 12 scoring shots, and the Saints have been 11 times for 2 goals.
It was a momentary grapple.
If I'm a ruck coach, Hutto, I've got no idea what that free kick's for.
You're a ruck coach?
Thankfully not.
Shot for goal. Bellchambers 30 metres out. Even for a ruckman, he should kick this. If I was a ruck coach, he's missed it to the left. 14-11-95 becomes 14-12-96 now. St Kilda 7-10-52. Mighty helpful, Mitre 10 scoreboard.
AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. Webster blasted up into the middle of the ground. They flew from various angles. Langford got hold of it, gave it to Merritt, then to Parrish. So the Bombers bring it back up to half forward. Myers is marked, and the crowd thinks from 60 that he should have a ping. He couldn't quite get momentum up, so he just steers the pass to Fantasia.
So I've got Alan Richardson on the Chemist Warehouse replay screen. I reckon he's saying, look, if we're going to do the set play up the middle of the ground, we should be outnumbering the opposition. They kicked the ball long, and it was Essendon that had more numbers at the drop of the footy.
Fantasia's night, 2-2 and 1 out on the full. He's angled to the left, and he's 45 metres from goal. They've left a couple out there in this term. Orazio Fantasia, he's pushed this out across the face as well. Stringer's flying at it, but to no avail. 45 points on the mighty helpful Mitre 10 scoreboard.
Yeah, 20 inside 50s now, 8 goals, 6. But 21 tackles about Essendon since they were down on the scoreboard. St Kilda have only had 8 in half a footy.
Jimmy Webster goes short to Akers. 1:20 remaining. As Jared said, they could have been spanked even more substantially in this quarter. As it is, the margin is 45.
Good kick.
Billings, big long kick for Membry, searching. Francis was there to square the contest, hits the ground, and McKenna tries to fend off Sinclair. That proved to be much more difficult. Bellchambers barely called that a handball too. Eventually Membry intervened, brings it to Steele, who kicks for Carlisle just out of his outstretched hands, and the Bombers defence on guard. McGrath's been terrific, received it from Merritt, and across again to Myers. He's going to get another big kick, or is he going to go short? Gets a call down the line from Fantasia, ignores that, decides to take the slow way out.
The most exciting thing for the Bombers the last 3 weeks, they've found a player in Aaron Francis, like a real serious footy player.
They share it around here with a couple of little dainty passes.
Yeah, the runner's been out doing Hutto, I think, because they got lack of interchange, trying to slow the play down till 3/4 time.
Brown to McGrath. If he was told to keep it close to the boundary line, he obeyed instructions, but unfortunately Akers was able to cut across. Webster takes a kick into the 50. It almost got through the cracks to Loney, but not quite. Here's the man Gaz was talking about, Francis, taking a very bold kick given the circumstances of the quarter, and it somehow got around all the St Kilda players who were pretty well positioned to intervene, but they didn't. It didn't matter because the siren ends and it was behind again.
Yeah, there was a swinging arm, and then Myers threw the footy at Ross, and then they were into it.
Oh, Davey Myers taking his tough pills. Seems to be pretty innocuous. All heading out to their respective huddles. Bit of gobbing off going on, which is standard.
45 points at the final break. 14-13, 97 to 7-10, 52. The Dons are going to win the night. This is AFL Nation for Macca's Mini Share and Footy, $5.95 with any purchase. And for Liquorland, we've got a drink for that.